Type your questions in the box. This is marketing, or actually this is ask me anything, right? It's not marketing. It's whatever you want. Last time we did this was just marketing. How can I help you today? What's going on? Guys, and listen, I'm going to give you off the top of my head answers. And we need to remember, I do not know or understand your whole context. Let me explain that while some of you were thumbing your questions into the question box or chat box, okay? Now take this. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, meaning if this applies to you, listen up. If it doesn't apply to you, that's great. But some of you are struggling in business. Like I said, I don't know the context of all of you. All right. For all I know, you're a total slob of a human being with zero discipline. You don't return phone calls. You get out of bed every day. You don't brush your teeth. You don't take a shower. And then you wonder why you're not selling work. Well, it's because you fucking stink. Okay. You could be doing all the right things, but be presenting yourself. Most of you are probably missing a lot of low-hanging fruit. Jeff, BG90 is not a separate program. It is the first 90 days of Battleground, which is designed to help you make another 20, 30 grand in your pocket in 90 days if you do everything we say. And we actually encourage you not to jump into the other calls in Battleground until you're through Battleground 90. Okay. So Al's here. What's up, buddy? Al made a statement in the box. So guys, I'm not going to answer statements. If there's not a question, I'm not going to answer an unasked question. But let me go back. The context, if the shoe fits, guys, some of you are all just fucking stupid. And I'm just going to say it. Like you don't know how to spell when you text a customer. That sends a message. Your truck isn't wrapped. That sends a message. You don't have company uniforms. That sends a message. Your website's from 1943 and it doesn't load in less than 60 minutes. And it's not responsive to mobile devices. That sends a message. You don't return phone calls. So I don't mean to come out of the gate really hard here in the sense of like acting like I'm judging all of you. But guys, everything you do and everything you don't do sends a message, tells a story. Okay. So my guess is with most people that are watching this right now, okay, you're just missing the ball on a lot of the low-hanging fruit. So when I answer questions tonight, remember, I don't understand the full context. I'm assuming you're a normal functioning human being that could get up and honor the commitments you make each day. I'm assuming that you're doing really nice, great work in the field and you're not some slime bucket. Okay. So I'm making some assumptions to answer these questions. Does that make sense? Give me a middle finger in the chat box or a fist bump, one of the two. Screw you. Fist bump means the same thing to me. It means you hear me. I just want you to hear me. All right. So, here we go. I'm going to go back up here. How to name a general contractor company. I don't know. Just be clear. So, somebody the other day asked me about naming their company and they said, what do you think of this name? And I just said, it doesn't tell me what you do. It was like Creative Construction Concepts or some shit like that. And I don't know what it was, but my point, you guys, with when I answered this person was, if I have to work to figure out what you do, you're being too clever. And Isaac is asking this question here. So Isaac, appreciate you being here. So Isaac, what do you think of the name of your company? What are you doing? You're a general contractor. What's your specialty? Don't say everything. You can't specialize in everything. All right. So I'm a big fan of like, Epic Kitchen and Baths or something like that. Right. Or if you're in a location, if you're a location base, the Colorado Springs Painting Company or something, it's very clear what you do. Now, the problem with that is if you wanted to have another location outside of Colorado Springs, kind of screwed. So you have to have some vision there, right? All right. Chrismally, I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. I'm going to call you C. What's up, C? I have a question for you. My dad owns a contracting company and I'm his assistant. I answer his incoming calls for him. We really want to use the Shin-Fu tactic. Now I have no contracting experience. So he's having to call them back after I get their basic info so he can give them a price range over the phone. Do you recommend we continue? No, I recommend you get trained on how to have these conversations with people. You don't want to put him on the phone. And this goes to anyone answering the phones in the business. You don't want to put the owner, the top salespeople. You don't want to set up appointments with them that are not qualified. So the first thing I would do is create content on your website talking about your pricing. The second thing I would do is when somebody calls in, you said contracting, so I don't know what kind it is, but I'll just say general contracting. When you're talking to somebody, you can simply just say, hey, listen, before I pass this on to your estimator to call you back and have a conversation, I have a couple different options of who gets your information here. So, normally a kitchen like this, could be anywhere from 30 to 40,000 or up over 100,000. Which would you say you're looking to spend or invest in your kitchen? And they'll at least give you a little bit of a ballpark. But this is a huge thing to answer here. Basically, you also need to talk to your dad and have him write down the most common jobs you do and what the ranges are. Okay. And then when you apply the Shin Fu on the step 2, the money, you'll be able to nail down a budget with somebody. But create content on your website, talk to your dad. And your dad's going to say this. If he's like 99.999% of the other people out there, and I'm not ripping on your dad, he's just going to say, well, they're all different. No shit, they're all different. Okay. That's why you need to go, hey, a master bathroom can range from this to this, Mr. Customer. Which conversation should we have here? Well, it's only this big. I understand that, but it's not necessarily always the size. It's what goes into it and the level of finishes. So before we talk about designing you a bathroom, am I designing you a $300,000 bathroom or a $50,000 bathroom? So that's one way. You got to spend some time with your dad. He's got to put some things on paper. Hopefully that helps. Al, what's up, brother? Al's trying to transition from handyman work to more remodeling. How do I shake the stigma of just a handyman? Create content, build your brand, start creating content. And your guys, this goes for everybody, not just Al. Whatever the main service you want to do should be what you spend your time and money on in your marketing. So Al's talking about being a handyman and wants to go to remodeling. Al, what kind of remodeling do you want to do? Create content around that. All the other leads for handyman shit and other types of remodeling projects are still going to come into your business because people are still going to just Google shit and call you. But you need to make sure that you're creating content around the shit you want to do. Okay. So I would start with that. The stigma is going to be the experience, getting rid of the stigma of just a handyman is going to be the long haul of building your brand, establishing yourself as an expert, educating people, going live from job sites and talking about, hey, one of the biggest questions we go all the time is, what is a load-bearing wall? How do I know I have a load-bearing wall? Guys, I want to flip the camera and I want to show you something here. When you see this and you see this, this is a load-bearing wall. Everything you do that comes out of your mouth should be establishing your expertise. And when you do that, Al, you're going to get rid of that stigma. The other thing is charge more. Okay. Don't just do handyman projects. Or if you do, just say, hey, our minimum is $1,000. So whether I'm there an hour or 6 hours, it's $1,000. Facebook user, no name, about niching. I can't answer it because you don't have a name. You need to follow instructions and grant StreamYard permission. Not closing a lot of jobs, says Joseph. I don't know why, though. Others in the industry are closing 75 to 90%, and I'm at less than 20. Good. I'm glad you're at less than 20 because that means you might be priced right, Joseph. Anyone selling 75 to 90% of their leads is too cheap, number one. And I'm an electrical contractor. Yeah, guys, closing rate is all right. Here's the thing, Joseph. One of the things we track in the fight that I track, how do I do this? If I had 10 leads that come in and I have 10 conversations, 10 Shin Fu pre-qualification conversations, and out of those 10, we establish some sort of budget and motive and all the stuff in the 5 steps, and I go meet with 3 of them. 3 out of the 10. I'm meeting with 3 of the 10. So I've decided to go out and meet with 30% of the people. I want to know what percentage of those you're selling. It should be a minimum of 95%. Okay. So every 100 leads that comes in, you might only go see 20 people, 30 people, but you should be closing 28 or 30 jobs. Okay. That's how you know that you've pre-qualified properly. So the closing rate on the leads coming in might only be 30% or 20%, but your closing rate on who you're meeting with is like 100. Hopefully that makes sense. Not closing a lot of jobs. I don't know why. You need to level up your skills as a salesperson, or it could be the message you're sending in your branding. Like I said at the top of this call, I don't know if you were here. If it applies, great. If not, I don't know context of everybody. Maybe you're a shithead. I don't know how else to say it, right? Maybe you don't call people back when you're supposed to. Maybe when you pull up, you don't look the part. You don't look. Guys, if you're charging more than your competitors and you're pulling up in a beater unwrapped van with bedhead, you only got 4 teeth, and you don't have a company uniform on and some sort of branding, guys, you are taking away any opportunity for them to trust you. I'm not just talking to Joseph here. All right. So I don't know why. Why do you type in the box? Why don't you think it's, and don't say it's because I'm more expensive. The guys that are closing 75 to 90% of their leads, that makes up your competition that's making no money. And if they are cheap, there's too many unknowns here. All right. So Christopher, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Renz, I have no idea what that means. Joseph, another comment. I know I'm not priced bottom of the barrel. Well, you shouldn't be. Well, as long as you're adding value, you're giving people what they want and the experience they want, you should be the most expensive. And, a lot of people are like, oh, I can't be the most expensive because I have these big competitors in my area and they're cheaper than me. Yeah, they're cheaper than you because they have 100 techs and they can actually spread their overhead out over 100 techs. Guys, when you are small competing with the bigger companies in your area, you have an opportunity to offer service they can't. So this is actually a strategic advantage. All right. Yeah, Gutierrez, he's like, it'll help with SEO if you make your company to the area you work in, unless you want to expand. So again, it just depends what your long range plans are. Do you recommend, says Alex, any virtual assistant companies, pink colors out of my price range? That they're the only ones I recommend. Okay. So, because they're not just, answering the phones. Do not hire a company just to take a fucking message, you guys. All right. That's the dumbest thing you could do. As a consumer, I don't want to leave a message. I could leave a message on your fucking voicemail. I want to move the ball forward. Alex, whatever pink colors is going to charge you, pony the fuck up, pay them, invest in yourself, invest in your business. All right. And play in the fucking big leagues. Don't stop thinking like a JV player. All right. Because I don't even know what the fuck they charge, but it's cheap compared to the ROI that you're going to get on the other end of it if you're not such a fucking wuss about it. All right. And I don't mean to specifically call you out, but I hear this all the time. Guys are like, I can't afford a bookkeeper, or I can't afford this. You guys are leaving so much fucking money on the table because you're running in this hamster wheel in your business, you guys. And Alex, I care about you, man. I want you to fucking win. All right. That's where this passion comes from. So quit being a cheap bastard, fucking hire Michelle and the team at Pink Collars and learn how to fucking grow up and be a real business owner and make a few $1,000,000 a year in your own pocket and quit stealing from your fucking family and your future. All right. How's that for an answer? There we go. All right. Next one. Rare form here today, guys. I've been in admin meetings all day, so I'm as feisty as you can fucking imagine if you know me at all. I don't see a question mark on Renz's questions or comments, so I can't answer anything. Adam, would you like to hear some tips on planning for the upcoming year? Would like to hear some tips for planning on the upcoming year. Yeah, this is really easy. Determine what you want and then reverse engineer the steps, the actions you can take on a daily basis to get there, and then do the steps. That's planning in a nutshell right there, man. Okay. What do you want? What do you want to grow? What do you want to scale? How much money do you want to pay yourself? Reverse engineer it, put it on paper with one of these ink stick things, and then go, okay, what needs to happen for me to get to there? And then wake up every day and do the shit. That's planning in a nutshell, man. Give you another example of bracketing, says Dalton. Another example from what? This is why you got to practice, man. You got to practice. What do you do, Dalton? I don't know what you do. I mean, guys, if you say to a client or a prospect, what's your budget? They're going to lie to you. Why? Because every one of us as a consumer lie to salespeople. We don't trust salespeople. So, Dalton, you just have to ask the question in a way that is disarming. Hey, listen, we have people that spend, anywhere from 15 to 20 grand to paint a whole house like this. And we got people that spend, 25 to 30,000, 35,000 to paint a project like this. And there's a lot of different factors and things like that. Before we get too deep in the weeds here, which of those conversations do you think we should have? And then just shut your mouth and they'll tell you 100% of the time where they want to be. Without more info there, Dalton, I don't know how to answer that. Joseph, I have a beater. Okay. Well then fucking raise your prices, man. I mean, I don't even know you buy a nice vehicle these days. What's the fucking payment? $600, $800 all in? Guys, that is cheap. And I want to challenge all of you right now that are thinking like $1,000 a month for something is expensive. It's expensive because you're a pussy about the way you approach your fucking money mindset. All right. Pardon my French. I probably just offended everybody. And I'll probably be kicked off all these platforms now. But $1,000 a month is $33 a day. You're going to tell me that you guys can't sack up a little bit and find another $33 a day. So Joseph, you could show up not looking like a schmuck, typical broke ass contractor. Because you pull up to my house in a fucking beater. I'm not hiring you. I want to hire the contractor that pulls up in a fucking Mercedes sedan because I know he's running a real business. I'm being dead serious here. I like to hire Matt Heiner. I paid hundreds of $1,000s to do my fucking yard. And I hired Heiner, try to say that. All right. Matt ain't cheap. Matt makes a lot of money. Matt drives a nice truck. I trust that. I don't trust a contractor that shows up in a beater. Okay. And for those of you who are like, oh, I don't want my customers to think I make too much money, then that's the fucking problem right there. All right. Okay. Jake. Lisa, wife, YouTube. Don't know what that means. There was another question there. Guys, you got to put question marks. I skip shit that don't have question marks. Okay. Bath and kitchen, remodeling, solo, want to bring on a guy, just cost us on the money side of the payroll. How much payroll? Grabbing them. Wife, YouTube. You commented that after you did the original. So Lisa, it sounds like you're solo, you're running a remodeling company, you want to bring help on, but you don't know how to figure out the money. Guys, you price the labor for the field for the person you're hiring into your fucking sales price. I answered this on you in the Facebook group the other night. I'm like, guys are like, oh, I'm afraid I won't have enough money to pay the people I hire to do the work. No, the problem is you're not charging what you need to charge, you guys, and you're not marketing and building your brand and focused on lead generation. That's what you're worried about. You're worried about not having enough work. That's what the issue is. So Lisa, 18 hours a day, Lisa. Okay? 18 hours a day. You need to be building your brand, marketing, kissing babies, shaking hands, whatever it takes to meet people, build relationships, and be out there. Okay? That's what building your brand is. Then you will be able to sell like you're independently wealthy and you don't need the fucking sale. When you guys can sell like you don't need the work, you're going to make shit tons of money. You could sell at the right prices and dominate. Okay? And when I say dominate, it doesn't mean you're going to do the most jobs. Doesn't mean you're going to have the biggest company. It's meaning you're going to make the most profit. You're going to have the best life. You're going to have a good quality of life. You're going to have a savings account and a retirement account. You're not going to go into debt. I mean, all the people we talk to in the fight on a weekly basis that are up to their fucking eyeballs in payday loan services and shit like that. All right, guys, it's sad. It's sad. So I don't know what wife YouTube means. Maybe I'll get to it as I scroll down. Jake, I guess it's been a while since I watched on Facebook. Thoughts on going super niche? All right. So if I wanted to build tequila bars for left-handed midgets in my city, Okay. And I know I just said the word and I'm probably canceled now. Fuck all of you. If I wanted to build tequila bars, custom tequila bars for left-handed small people, little people, whatever. All right. There's only so many people on planet Earth that fit that demographic, Jake. So I'm very good with going niche. Okay. But super niche, you got to be careful. Like now, if I were selling cell phones to left-handed little people, okay. Everyone and their brother wants a cell phone. So you got to look at the demand of the thing you're looking at. Hopefully that makes sense. So there's many factors. Okay. I think you can market to these niches very specifically, understanding you'll get some leads with that, but you'll also get other leads for other things. And you can pick and choose what you want to do. The other thing would be, if you can get into a small, high-end, high-dollar niche community, okay, like people that own yachts or something like that, and they want to do some sort of renovation type project to their yacht or cigar bars in their houses or whatever it might be, it could make sense. You just got to roll the numbers out. I mean, you could get 80% gross profit on $50,000 tequila bars, right? I'm just picking a number here, which would be 40 grand a profit on every one that you do. All right. 80% gross profit. You'd make 40 grand to pay all your overhead and have a net profit. Well, how many of those are you going to do a year? If you only do 2 a year, you're only making 80 grand. You're making 100 grand top line. So hopefully that makes sense. Anthony, I'm taking on larger projects. If somebody wants to change everything in their home, should I have an architect that I work with, or is my customer responsible to hire someone? A lot of moving parts. Yeah, this is exactly why I would never do remodeling or general contracting work, Anthony. But listen, you do it on your terms. If you know this is not your wheelhouse and you know this is best for the client, then you bring on the architect. And if somebody doesn't want to work with you and your architect, they don't work with your company. Hopefully that makes sense. Like it's your job to do the job on your terms, Anthony, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And if it's not on your terms, it ain't going to happen, period. And maybe if it's an outside architect that they go hire I want control, because remember, every architect has their favorite contractors. All right. So I want to make sure I'm buddy with certain architects too. Juan Morales, what's the name of the book that you have for estimates? I have no idea what you're talking about. Nathaniel, pretty much new house renovation, able to close. Okay, it's not a question, so I'm going to skip it. You're welcome. Tell me what you really think. Yeah, no shit. Sheldon, if you sell for a company, I'm thinking you're trying to say if you sell for a company, you want a blog. I'd it possible. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay, like before you post something, and we all have typos from time to time. We've already got 2, and I'm not even 2 sentences into Sheldon's post here. So this is what I was saying earlier. Like everything you do sends a message. Guys, I have typos just like all of you, but they're not like in every sentence in a row. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. So I'm going to decipher this. If you sell for a company, you want to blog, is it possible to blog and build a personal brand to establish me personally as an expert to help close projects? Certainly you need to do things that your employer would like you to do under their brand, since they're paying you and paying for your leads and things like that. There is nothing saying that you couldn't go live on Instagram, that you couldn't go live, you couldn't have your own blog called Sheldon, the home improvement guy, or whatever you fucking call your own blog. And in your bio, you could be, I'm Sheldon Santos. You do a video. I'm Sheldon Santos, and I'm excited to be a salesperson on these types of projects for ABC Construction and this and that. And then you can swap that video out if you ever left that company, but you've built your brand. So there's certainly ways to do that. Nathaniel, my question would be discussing the scope of work, presenting the bill of materials, and asking the budget would be enough to close a future deal. My question would be, well, this is the sales process. You don't need to present a bill of materials, number one, Nathaniel. when you go get a fucking cheeseburger, are you asking them to break down how much the pickles were? You know what I mean? You're not. And the reason you guys do this, I'm not just picking on Nathaniel. A lot of you guys are like, how do I break all this down? Is because you're a wuss. You guys have zero chops or confidence when it comes to selling your shit. Okay. You're not taking control of the sales process, and you're being bitch slapped around by every fucking client that reaches out to you. And they're going, well, I'm going to need you to send this over and this over and this over. No, motherfucker. This is how we do a project when you hire my company. Like, and you don't say this, obviously, but this, guys, be confident. Nathaniel, learn your numbers. Know what it takes. No, we don't break shit down. I'm sorry. It's $85,000 to do the bathroom. Would you like to do it or not? Well, the other 18 motherfuckers I got bids from all broke it down. Okay, well, why haven't you gone with one of them? Why are we on the phone? Like, you got 18 other bids. Certainly there's something you're not hearing from them that you felt it was necessary to have a conversation with me. So how can I, what should we do next? Nathaniel, this is a sales issue, sales process issue and mindset. Okay. You got this, man. Take control. Guys, I'm getting after you a little tonight. If you can't notice, number one, I'm feisty. I've been in administrative meetings all day. All right. So right there, you're all fucked. Secondly, though, all right, let's step into our greatness here. Let's stop allowing ourselves to play the game that all the other shithead contractors are playing. Let's step into our greatness and stop playing the game that every prospect wants you to play because of what they saw on fucking some show on TV or some article on one of the third-party expert lead generating sites. Okay? Written, some damn article about how much it costs to build a project that was written by some 22-year-old intern at one of these companies who doesn't know dick about dick. Okay? You guys step up, be the expert. You guys step up and take control of that sales process. All right? Be like a fucking fighter pilot with that swag, or a United States Marine with that fucking chip on our shoulder. Motherfucker, I'm going to punch you in the dick and we're going to win this battle. Let's go. We're going to punch it in the dick and do this project for you. If you want it to go off without a hitch, you don't want to have all the typical bullshit, communication issues and mess and shitty experience that 98% of the other contractors are going to provide you, then I'm your guy. If not, thanks for having a conversation with me. Good luck. I'm out. That's what Selling Unafraid is about. Now, the words I'm using, the intensity are all going to be very different. I'm using these. I got to spell this out for some of you. All right. The words and intensity here, guys, are for you. This isn't what you say to your customers necessarily. Okay. But be bold. A lot of you guys aren't bold. A lot of you are getting knocked around like a paper bag on a fucking windy day, a plastic bag blowing through the neighborhood every time the phone rings with a customer because you've done dick to step up and work on your confidence and your self-discipline. Okay. All right. Whew. Robert. Who's this? Somebody's calling me. Shit. Fuck. Hold on. Hey. Yeah, I got like a minute. I'm on a live webinar here. I knew it was you. You're good. What time you open till? We're here till 6. All right, I'll call you, man. All right, thanks. Bye. One of my daughter's cars broke down and it's in the shop. We need to get it fixed ASAP. So anyway, all right, had to answer it because I missed 2 of his calls earlier. Apologize for that. Robert, torn between being a salesman but also having to be in the field. Feel like I can't leave the job site. How would you recommend scaling so I can merge out of being in the field to focus more time in the business? Number one, Robert, I would not concern myself with scaling right now. Do not try to grow bigger. Scale your profit. Okay? There's a difference. Scale your profit. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So that might mean you working side by side for the next 18 months with your guys in the field, set up a card table on the job site like I used to make my calls and do some paperwork in between tasks, okay, that they could do without me, but I could still have an eye on it. I know this sounds crazy, you guys, but a lot of you all are in a hurry to get the tools off because you read the fucking E-Myth, and it's one of the worst books in the history of the world, if you ask me. I understand what he was trying to do, but I think it confused everybody, all right? In the trades, guys, it is a very, very different situation. There's a lot of safety issues. There's shit that could go wrong, problems that can escalate, and dominoes that could be knocked over that could screw you over for weeks or months to come. So don't be in a hurry to get out of the field, all right, if you don't have people there that you can absolutely trust with certain aspects of the job. So, Robert, I would lean into my right-hand person, all right, or people or my crew, and work on being as profitable as I could right now before you try to scale, okay? You will scale, but it's just going to take longer. Think of it this way, the bamboo plant, right? The bamboo grows under the surface of the earth for like 4 years before it pops up through the earth. So for 4 years, the root system is growing. That's what's happening here, guys. When you spend that time on the job site with your guys, would you, like, seriously, Robert, would you rather put another 20, 30 grand in your pocket right now this year, or be apologizing for the next year, not making more money and apologizing for the fuck ups on the job site because you weren't there? So pick your heart. We have this, we have frogs upstairs on the counter. One of our kids has frogs, and there's a heater, and the heater malfunctions, and there's a beeping sound, and you have to go push a button, and nobody's home, and I can hear it beeping. You guys probably can't hear it, but it's like making me want to rip my face off right now. All right, Gorilla Crete, what's up? By the way, great brand. You guys are talking about naming companies. This is not boring. I love it. Hope you're having a kick-ass day. I have people that are constantly asking me for merch. Usually give shirts, hats, and sweaters as free advertising. I feel like I'd actually use this to bring in extra cash flow. It's not, I'm going to stop you right there. I did this with one of my old companies back in the day. We tried to sell merch, just give it away. The fulfillment issues, the shipping, shit, even here in the contractor fight, man, like, we don't make dick on our merch, and we sell, barely $100,000 worth of merch a year. And, we still sell it. I'm in a much different place in business, very different industry, things like that. I would be giving that shit out right now. Personally, I would not get distracted with trying to be an apparel company, because you either got to go all in and be an apparel company, in my opinion, my humble opinion, probably wrong, but that's okay. Okay. Luis, what about pulling in with a car of decals, my flooring business to appointments? If that's what you got right now, and if it's a nice car, that's fine. Just don't drive up in a beater, man. Don't drive. You guys are driving up in unmarked vehicles. That sends a message that you don't want to be found. Think about that for a minute. You don't want to be found. And some guys are like, well, I want to be able to drive the vehicle on the weekends for family things. Guys, if you started a vehicle, I'm not saying this is the case with Luis, okay? If you started a business, why wouldn't you be proud to drive it around? No matter where you're going. I pull up to a 5-star hotel in my F-150 that's all tatted up in contractor fight shit. Okay? It is what it is. All right? I'm not a stuff guy either. I'm not buying Rolls Royces and shit like that. I drive an F-150. My wife drives a kick-ass BMW and, shit like that. Like, I'm not a stuff guy. I don't have Harleys and toys and boats. Not my thing. All right? So Luis, if that's what you got right now, make sure the car's clean. Make sure you don't have a bunch of shit on the floor. I had a client walk out to my truck once and look in my truck to see how messy it was before they agreed to hiring me. I said, what are you doing? I want to see your truck. I said, okay. We walked out to my truck, opened the door, it was clean. They said, okay, you're hired. I laughed. I said, what gives? They said, I don't want to hire somebody who doesn't keep a clean truck, because you're going to give me a messy house, and your bedroom's probably messy, and you probably didn't make your fucking bed. You're not the type of person I want. Probably wouldn't be surprised he was an engineer and a former military guy. Okay. Giovanni, do you see value in handyman service? Yeah, there's value, but it's, you would have to you could take a blowtorch to my testicles before I ever opened a handyman business. Okay. Because when people see the word handyman, the immediate story in their mind is cheap. Okay. I've known more guys that have gone bankrupt running handyman businesses than I know that have become wealthy in handyman businesses. Now, I will say, Giovanni, if you want to work on your own, be left alone, bring in a couple $100,000 a year, turn on the leads, turn off the leads, not systematize, not really grow, just kind of do the shit yourself because you enjoy it, make 100 grand in your pocket a year, go for it. I don't judge that at all. But if you want to grow and scale, here's the issue. You guys think the labor pool is tough for painters and all that other shit? You start a handyman business, guys, you have to hire people that are good at everything. Think about that. And then you go, okay, well, I could sub them all out and not have employees. Okay. Well, you're going to be paying them out the ass. And so then you're just a lead generating company at that point. So I have a lot of thoughts on that, obviously. Jasmine. I thought it said Jasmine Rice. It's Jasmine Ruiz. Good to see you. Started only making a third profit. Now I scaled to 40 and a few 50 since part of the fight, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Glad to hear that. What about calling absentee rental property owners? I don't know. What about it? Call them. Guys, if you're asking me, what about this? Try it. Every answer I give you is the result of me trying shit, right? So it's, how do I know the shit I know? I tried it. It worked or didn't work. It kind of worked. I made adjustments. Roberto. GC specializes in kitchen baths. I'm one guy, show revenue 1.2 on my third year in business. Just read They Ask Your Answer. What do you think the best program to help my biz grow to the next level is? Battleground. Yeah, it's Battleground. And I'm not supposed to do this. I did this last week and Neil didn't find out, so I didn't get in that much trouble. So I'm going to do it right now. Hold on. We had a couple people jump in. So guys, one in Battleground. I'm just going to We'll put the link here. Your ass in here. Okay. Roberto, I just put it at the very bottom of the chat. I don't know who's going to see it, but jump in. That's the program for you, hands down. And then when you get past, it depends. You're one person show. So I don't know if you had admin staff and all that other stuff. But glad to see you're working on They Ask You Answer and stuff. At the very least, man, send a message to help the contractor fight, and we can have we'll have Dan give you a call and see what the best thing is for you. Roberto asked another question. For me, is the 50% gross profit true for complete house remodels and additions when my cost? Yeah, 100%. Dude, we got guys doing 3.5 million at a 50% gross profit that sub everything out. Okay. Doing house remodels and shit like that. And I'm not, Roberto, I appreciate the question. I'm not picking on you. This is not directed towards you, but in general, when I get a question like this, you guys, people are looking for permission to not up their skills as a marketer, as a salesperson, and as a leader. They're looking for an escape hatch to not charge more and play with this rule that we have. Okay. Winter months renovation, says Joe Dex. I hate it. How can I lay off my crew and not lose employees? Well, have them do marketing for you, have them create content, have them join networking groups, pay them, put them on unemployment and pay them. I don't know what to tell you at this point because you're already in the winter, man. But if you're not constantly building your brand, you guys, you will constantly starting over every year with a new crew because they're going to jump ship. So you got to find some shit for them to do. So Steve, one of my old business partners, had a pond business, same issue. He's in Maryland. He had them writing blog posts and shooting videos, and he paid them through the winter. Now, Joe, you might be like, I can't pay him through the winter. Yeah, that's why you need to raise your fucking prices. Okay. And learn the math of your business and stuff. You mentioned the book in the beginning of the program, says Juan. Yeah, it's my book, man. Winning the Contractor Fight. Go to thecontractorfight.com/book. It's not an estimating book, Juan. Okay. It's a mindset book about how to run a business. What's the best way to start establishing a brand? Says Tim W. Start introducing yourself to people. Look the part and meet people. Just start with that. Build a website, wrap your truck. That's advertising. That's brand identity. But you got to stand for something, Tim. What are you going to stand for? Okay. Here in the fight, it's all about stop stealing from your family, bring respect and dignity back to the trades. I am always planting that flag every day. All right. And that's what I become known for over the time. What do you want to become known for? Start talking about that in your industry. My prices shoot way high where they seem unrealistic. Okay. Well, I don't know, Roberto. My prices shoot way high where they seem, the fucking sentence, it doesn't even make sense. I'm in the solar industry. If I pay my sales rep 10% commission of the contract price and we are making 20% margin, combined it's 30, or do we as a company? Oh my God, shoot me. Number one, don't pay sales reps off the top line sale of any job. Pay them off the gross profit. So Peter, if you do a $10,000 sale, if you put solar panels on my house for 10 grand and it costs you $4 grand to pay your installers, you got $6 grand left. That's a 60% gross profit. Okay. Pay your salesperson out of that. And if you paid them 10% of the gross profit, they'd make $600 on the sale because the gross profit would be $6 grand, or you pay them 15% of the gross profit money. But I don't know what you're combining. If you're making a 20% margin, profit margin on installing solar, now I know the solar industry is very different, guys. Door knocking and all that other shit, and insurance is involved, like some of the storm chasing roofing guys. Not my cup of tea, not my bag, not my business model, and I think it's flawed in many ways. But I also know there's guys pulling in multi-millions doing it. You need to keep more of the money from every contract if you want to scale your business. That's bottom line. You are not at a 20% margin. You just have a high paid job, in my opinion. Thanks, Al, for sharing that. Ben, I told my client I wouldn't punch him in the dick. I would punch him in the dick, invited me inside. That's funny. I'm learning concrete grinding. What do you think is more effective? I don't know. I don't care about equipment, guys. I could give a fuck about tools, equipment, tape, any of that shit. I care about y'all making money and getting in shape and not dying before you should because of all your vices. I care about you having a great marriage. I care about you having a big ass bank account. Okay. That's all I care about. I've tried to look into different avenues and get creative with producing for cash flow through my business. I know I can sell my shirts, sweaters, hats. Question, although cash flow would be small, is it still worth it? Still, well, if you sell, think about this, Gorilla, back to the apparel thing here. It's a follow-up question because I'm just kind of rolling through this. This shirt on the Contractor Fight website, I don't even know what it is, probably $30. Okay. If I make a 50% gross profit, I'm making $15 on the shirt. How many shirts do I have to sell to fucking move the needle at all in my life? Okay. It just doesn't, it just doesn't change anything. All right. So the effort that you put into selling a fucking t-shirt and designing it and shipping it and all those other things, I'm not saying don't make the shirts and give them to your customers. I'm saying the effort and the focus of you doing that, if you put 10% of that effort into building your brand, building the next right relationship, that's going to put a couple $100,000 in your pocket a year. That's a better use of your time. Tim Lawrence, I've been making the customers sell me the job just by, Raphael, how do you justify charging US dollars in a country where the currency is, well, whatever it is in your currency, man, the percent is percent. Profit is profit. It's in your country. So you shouldn't be talking in US dollars if you're in another country. Okay. JMR, guys, I got about 10 more minutes here. I'm a plumber working in Santa Barbara area. Every change you're probably trying to say everyone is charging 90 to 140 an hour. I'm charging 110. I want to know if I should raise your price. Yes. It depends. If you're offering the best service, I'm not saying you're the best at fixing a pipe, because y'all fix a pipe pretty fucking good, right? Is it the best experience? What is your overhead and your break even and your goals tell you? I don't care about the other people in my area, you guys. I don't care what anyone charges. Okay. I don't care. The going rate is irrelevant to me because 90% of contractors don't know their math. 140 might be too cheap. Okay. You charge what you need to charge. So what I want to say here, JMR, is this. For example, let's say that, I don't know how many people you have, but you're a one-man show. All right. Well, you can't work physically more than your body's going to allow you to. And if you're running a business, you guys, You got to revert. Earlier, somebody asked a question about setting goals, right? And going into the new year, planning the new year. I said, identify what you want and reverse engineer it. I want to work 4 days in the field, take weekends off, and work 1 day on the business doing sales, marketing, building relationships, whatever. So if I'm a one-man show, I'm working 4 days in the field. All right. So that's 8 times 4. I have 32 production hours times 50 weeks a year. That's 1,600 production hours. Well, if I want to pay myself $100,000 in my pocket divided by 1,600, all right, I got to charge $6,250 just to pay my salary per man hour if I work if I work 1,600 hours in the year. All right. Well, then you add on here JMR, marketing, truck payments, shop, all the other overhead in the business, phones, all that other stuff. Now just call it, you got 250, and then you want a $50,000 net profit at the end of the year, or else why would you do this? So let's just say your overhead is now $250,000. That includes paying you and having a net profit of $50,000 and paying all the bills for the business. This is not even materials in the field or anything like that. So 250 divided by 1,600, you got to charge 156 and a quarter an hour if you're a one-man show. So fuck the going rate. This is what your math says. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense, man. I don't know insurance. Call an insurance agent, Michael. There's a thing called Google. Okay. In your area, just Google contractor insurance and pick one and talk to them. Is signing up for a home warranty company good? No, build your own brand, man. If I'll tell you what, if a gun to my head, I had to start a business tomorrow, it would probably be HVAC, electrical, or plumbing, because people have to do that shit. You shouldn't have to depend on a home warranty company when you get your HVAC license. At the very least, go work for somebody or start your own. There's so many fucking people that need shit done. Okay. I'm just scrolling, looking for question marks here, guys. There's a lot of stuff. I started being a crew leader until I took it upon myself with a group for 5 years, breaking myself into sales and being in the field at all times. How can I make more profit? I don't have enough info there. I don't know. Guys, hopefully you understand the spirit that I'm answering these things with. Okay. I'm trying to punch you in the face and wake you up a little bit here. I love you. I care about you. That's why I do these. I have other things I could be doing. I could have spent this hour writing my book. Okay. Seriously. But I'm here because I want you to win. I want you to have a little bit of access to what's behind the curtain in our programs. All right. And I'd be a liar to tell you that, I don't want you to join one of our programs, because I think it's the best fucking shit on the planet for a contractor that wants to be successful. Okay. And if you don't feel that way about your services, then you probably shouldn't be in business. Okay. I unapologetically am always trying to fill our programs because I know how the lives change inside of them. Okay. Biggest mistake, says Edward, a contractor could make. Not getting oxygen, meaning not taking care of themselves first. You are the center of your universe, your health, your mindset, your pay. That answers Stacy's question. Should we pay ourselves before our hired help? 100% you should. Okay. A lot of you are broke because you pay everybody but you. And you can't pay you and your hired help because you're not charging enough. So this all comes back to getting oxygen, Edward. You got to take care of you first. This is not selfish. All right. A lot of us are working and there's seasons, right? Seasons of business and times a year where, we're burning the candle at both ends, and that's just how it is. But guys, when you build those habits to take care of you first, and you get really intentional about how you're going to spend your time and where you're going to spend your time and what outcomes you want in your life, all those things combined about getting oxygen, not doing that to me is the biggest mistake. Ask me in a year and I'll probably change my mind, because every year I have a different perspective on things, but that's where I am today. Thoughts on Thumbtack? They can fuck off. How's that, Joseph? No, I don't mean that. What I mean is this. Joseph, if you're not building your own brand first, that's where I have a problem with everybody going to all these third-party sites to generate leads. Every third-party site generates work for contractors, or else those companies wouldn't be in business, right? I just see too many guys leaning on these sites first, instead of putting their time and money into building their own brand. I've watched people put $10, $20, $50,000 into these third-party websites. They don't have shit, but then they bitch about hiring CGN to do a $15,000 website that'll actually get them leads 150, 200 times a year, and it'll pay them $2 million. Okay. So anyway, Facebook user, is financing a good thing? Yes. Make it easy for people to pay. Credit cards, financing, whatever your industry, whatever it is. Most people aren't going to use it, but don't let that be a reason they can't. And don't nickel and dime the fucking fees and all that. That's just being small-minded. ARC remodeling. It's raining. Get on the ARC. My workers are all subs, no employees. I'm looking at a higher project manager. Would you pay them the same as a salesperson? No, project manager is different, right? They're managing projects that, you could, you could pay them a performance bonus on how they bring in a project, but they should have a base that's as much or more than any other base they're going to get somewhere else. And then, that's a big question that without knowing all the context, but no, they can't be just commission. Infinity. Finding it hard to implement second stage payments, getting 40% deposit, no problem. Getting another installing, asking if the client sees anything is hard. Well, it's your process. You honor it. You have to honor it. Okay. If you're getting pushback and people don't want to pay, they want to pay. They just want confidence from you. So you're not giving them confidence in some way, shape, or form. Your communication blows. You're not doing daily updates. Something in the experience is lacking, which is making them cautious. That's all. And you can consider, another 40% when installing starts, put dates on it instead of milestones of the project. Like, hey, here's a deposit to get on the schedule. On the 15th of next month, here's when the next payment is due, regardless of the progress. Okay. Guys, this is stuff that happens inside Battleground, like where you rub shoulders with all these other contractors that are living this out, and they've got their paperwork in order and they're dealing with the same things that you are. So anyway, Jeanette D, my husband got laid off, full-time job in HVAC. Meanwhile, we have also been running our own business, but not enough traction. How can I get more traction? You got to build your brand. Open your mouth. You and your husband, if he's not installing or fixing some HVAC right now, you and him are spending 8 to 12 to 16 hours a day meeting people, building relationships, creating content, and shit like that. Would foundation be your first step if you're starting a new business? Yes. How can I convince my dad to hire people? I don't know. I don't know your dad. Joel, what salary commission do you recommend paying a salesman? I own a residential remodeling company. All right. I'm a little weird on this. This is a very, very broad, Joel and anyone else listening, this is a very, very broad answer. Okay. This is not a golden rule, but it's a starting point. Okay. If a salesperson wants to make $100,000, they need to sell at least $1 million. That's the first place. Now, that $100,000 is probably in the remodeling world going to be divided up between part of it being salary, and that salary is for building their book of business, building relationships with influencers, prospecting. All right. And the commission is for what they sell. Okay. And so you're just going to have to figure out, and again, like I said earlier, I would not pay on top line sales. I would pay on gross profit. I had a business once where we had a sliding scale. Like if the job was completed at 55% or better, the salesperson got a higher commission and the guy running the job got a higher spiff on that. If it was lower than a 50% gross profit on production side, then the commission went down. And if it dropped below another amount, certain amount, there was zero commission. Okay. So that's way more than we can handle here. Zach, great question. You have any advice for somebody considering starting a new business when big businesses are predicting a recession on the horizon? I don't give a fuck. We don't participate in recessions, Zach. You do you. There are plenty of people in whatever you do that want to pay shit tons of money. 99% of people in business right now are going to shrink back and be little wusses about this, and they're going to hide in the hole, while people like you, Zach, are going to step up, big nuts on the table, boom, going, let's go, baby. I'm going to go get mine. Okay. While everyone's napping and sleeping, we here in the fight are going to be out there building our businesses. Okay. Because there's plenty of people out there that want to do the work. Just be wise about it. Charge enough in a time of a recession, inflation, a time like we have right now, guys, whatever the hell you want to call it. You actually have to raise your prices. If you haven't seen last couple of my YouTube videos, I talk about when there's a recession, if you normally get 10 leads a month during a recession, you're going to get 5. So you got less at bats to bring in the same gross profit to pay your overhead and have a net profit. All right. So you actually have to raise your prices when demand is lower. Okay. A lot of contractors are lowering their prices when demand's lower, and they're still fucking broke. So if I'm going to be broke, I'd rather not have any jobs and no risk. I'd rather sit home and, fondle myself and not make money. Okay. I'd rather go 10 bar or drive fucking Uber Eats or some shit if I'm not going to make money on the jobs I'm doing anyway. You're not here to be busy, you guys. You're not here to keep your guys busy. You are here to make a profit, to meet a need and make a profit. Meet a need and make a profit. Add as much value as you can to your clients, okay? And invest that profit back into training your people, building your business, scaling the things that you want to scale. All right, Zach, don't listen to what everyone else is saying because everyone else is fucking stupid. All right? The average American doesn't have $1,000 in the bank account, so don't listen to fucking anybody. All right. Now, big businesses are predicting recession like shit. Think about this, you guys. Elon goes in, takes over Twitter, and what did he fire? Like 70, 80% of the fucking workforce or some shit like that. And then Meta, they just laid off a shit ton of people a few weeks ago. Just think about this for a minute. 2 of the biggest companies around, if they could lay off that many people, how inefficient were they? So that doesn't scare me at all. Like companies like that laying people off, or Amazon or whatever, it says to me that they were really inefficient. And people were just showing up and not fucking doing their job and getting paid. Okay. All right. I got to fly through GC. We work with a GC. How can I stick to my price point, especially if he's the one I'm getting my add value, Jeanette, add value. Okay. Find out what his biggest pain points are, right? And meet those pains, and you'll be irreplaceable. Make yourself irreplaceable. Thanks for the God blesses. Is it better? There's no question mark there. Is putting money into Google My Business a part of building? Yeah, it's part of building your brand. Okay. You said you never do remodel or GC work. What would you do? Niche. Yeah, I would do. Tanika, that's just how my brain is wired. I'm not good with a lot of moving parts, me personally. I want to do something that's as simple as possible to sell and deliver. That's why personally, I would never do those things. Nobody in my business can sell like me. Should I give up on trying to hire a salesperson? No, you shouldn't. But I don't know what your team looks like, JFC pros, but I would hire, I would make sure all your crew leaders or foremen or whatever they are trained, and you have upsell goals for them. I would make sure you have sales process in place to maximize your time. And then if you're the best salesperson and you want to keep selling, then replace yourself in the other areas of your business. Make yourself irrelevant in those. Okay. All right. And JFC, I know some people that if they came into your business, they could sell better than you, and I'm one of them. Okay. So and what I mean by that, I can think of all of our sales coaches in the fight. I can think of many of our clients inside a Battleground and people we've done workshops for, and in Empire and this and that have been part of our community for a long time. I guarantee they could come in and sell as good, if not better than you tomorrow. Okay. So what you're telling yourself, nobody can sell like me. Okay. That's a story you're telling yourself. Okay. Hopefully you understand the spirit behind this. So tell yourself a different story. Okay. Tell yourself a different story. All right. My friends, I want to make sure that you know we have a special going on right now on foundations. I'm going to drop the link here. So for those of you that are asking really basic questions about mindset and pricing your work and stuff, this is an amazing course. And through the end of the month, you also get a little bit of limited access to some of the things that go on inside a Battleground, which is pretty freaking cool. Do I book one-on-one calls? I don't. No. We have different coaching programs. Peter, if you want to email help at the contractor fight, Dan will give you a call and talk to you about the different coaching options we have. And there are one-on-ones, but I don't. No. Let's see. Craig, I'm not bringing a whole lot of money right now. I have 2 guys who really want to work. My body is getting beat up. Is it a bad idea to spend money in advertising? Well, it depends what the advertising is, Craig. In a time like this, most people shrink back on their ad spend. And $350 a month for 6 months minimum. $350 a month isn't shit, man. That's what, a nickel a day or some shit. I don't know what it is. $350 a day. Did I get there? No, that's wrong. See, I need a calculator. 350 divided by 30 days. That's $12 a day. All right. There's a bunch of stuff you can be doing for free. I think that's too cheap. I don't know who you're talking to, but that's too cheap for advertising. Yeah, you want to be building your brand and marketing, where the eyeballs are. You want to create your own demand, you guys. That's why I'm so big on creating my own content. I don't want to rent space from other companies. I want to create my own demand. When I mean by renting space, and I'm not saying I don't ever do this, but like when you get a billboard in town, you're renting space from them. You stop paying, you don't have a billboard anymore. When I create a blog post, I don't have to pay anyone to do that. I create a blog post, I add value, I'm creating demand, I'm answering common questions, and boom, indoor billboard company. That's the worst investment a contractor can do. I'll tell you what, I go to my daughter's indoor soccer games, Craig, and I see all the billboards on the other side of the field, all the signs hanging up there. There's got to be 100 of them, and I can't tell you one of them. Okay. And I've been going to this indoor facility for years. I cannot tell you one. Okay. Guys, for those of you that are asking, because I got to go here in a minute. For those that are asking, what do I do for marketing? You can spend a bunch of time combing through my hundreds of videos on YouTube that are for free, or you can grab our marketing boot camp. I just put a link in there for that. There's like 15 hours of training, and it's designed for those of you that don't have big bags of money in the closet and you go, what do I do for marketing? How do I get the phone to ring? That's what marketing boot camp is for. It's a self-directed course. And any answer I'm going to give you is in there. Okay. And I go into depth on it, and I really educate you around the mentality behind creating a marketing plan and the implications of certain things. And, a lot of you guys watching this are in the hustle and grind phase of your business. So you don't have $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month to burn on ad spend. Guys, if you're paying a company for marketing right now, you have to be okay with lighting that money on fire. Okay? Some of you are like, fuck that. Well, listen to what I'm saying. Whether it's me, when we run ads, when you run ads, guys, marketing is an experiment. You're testing shit to see what works. And then you go, hey, that works. Throw a little more money at it. And then it works until it doesn't work. And then you're testing other shit on paid ad spend. I'm not saying paid ads don't work, but I'm saying for you to really dial it in and have a great ROI, it's going to require you to be okay with pissing away some money. All right. That's why I created Marketing Bootcamp, because it's stuff that's within your control that you can personally do that doesn't cost shit other than your time. And you ain't got nothing but time right now. Even if you're working all day in the field right now, you still have time at night to do stuff. There's plenty to do. Now, Alexa's Alarm is going off upstairs. I don't know why. All right. So last call for questions. What do you got? I went a little over, of course, like I always do. How can I help you? I'm going to take one more question. Super appreciate y'all being here. I've dropped a few links in here. Trade shows. What are your thoughts on trade shows? Depends. Try it. It's testing, Chad. I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to be a smartass, but that's what it is. If I'm a local contracting company, I'm okay doing a trade show if I'm good burning the money, right? But to go in there expecting to go to the trade show and then fill my calendar up with qualified leads, I have zero expectation for that. To me, it's a long-term branding play. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. But it's, we used to do some shows. In fact, when I did trade shows outside of Chicago many years ago, there'd be 1,000 contractor booths around the place, and there'd be 40 painters or whatever the fuck it was. It wasn't 1,000, I don't think, but, we generally did not get a lead from those shows. We didn't sell anything from those shows until several months later. Yeah, B&Is are great, things like that, Casal, because you're meeting people, you're building relationships, you're getting people to know you. Okay, I'd rather you spend your time on that than a trade show, you guys. So anyway, guys, appreciate you. We put a bunch of links in there. And again, listen, guys, I'm not trying to be slimy, salesy. Hopefully you understand. That's why I do these things. I'm trying to help you and coach you on the fly quickly. But if you want to go deeper and faster in success in some of these things, you guys, then jump into one of these programs or video trainings that we have. And if not, totally cool. I get it. All right. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Have a great night. Whatever it is, it's 5:00 at my time. It's 7:00 on the East Coast, 4:00 or so on the West Coast. You guys rock. I got to roll. I'm out.